Why hello there YouTube, welcome to the TheSHPodcast. It has been quite some time since I was last here. Today we're going to do something a little different because I am going to predict the Academy Awards 2018 coming on this evening. I don't know the time, there are a lot of different time zones. I'm in the UK, so it's probably not going to be till tomorrow morning, but it will be like early evening for you Americans there, so that's all fine. It has been a while since I was doing one of these videos, and this was intended to be my first podcast, and it was supposed to be recorded earlier in the week. However, over in the UK, you might have seen there's been some adverse weather conditions that have led to, basically, England's come to a standstill. The entire UK has come to a standstill. It's clearing up now. The Oscars are tonight. The guy I was going to record with, he's not in town at the moment, so you got to put with me just chatting in a non-formal, informal way, and so without further ado, because there's a lot of awards to get through, I'm not just predicting like the Meg 5, not predicting those at all. I am predicting every single film on this list. So, start off with visual effects. The nominees: Blade Runner 2049, Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 2, Kong Skull Island, Star Wars The Last Jedi, and War for Planet of the Apes. Now, this is a very good category. War for Planet of the Apes and Blade Runner 2049 should be nominated for way more than they are nominated for. They are absolute masterpieces, those films. Kong, that's basically, they're only there for the CGI of Kong and the monsters, which is quite good, but, not something we've not seen before. Star Wars Last Jedi, Star Wars is going to have great effects, but in terms of actual visual stunningness, personally, I would like to see War for Planet of the Apes win, but Blade Runner 2049 is just a visual masterpiece, and the special effects really make that happen so well. They make a damn AI relatable, and you actually get connected to an AI in the same way that you get connected to Cortana. So, for the visual effects, it's going to be Blade Runner 2049. I'm not going to edit any of this sound. I'm going to keep it completely natural and just edit the images above it so I can get this out nice and quickly. So there's going to be a lot of ums and ahs and stutterings, but who cares? It's just a review video. There will be timestamps in the link below detailing of all the different plots. So, next one, costume design. The nominees are Beauty and the Beast, Darkest Hour, Phantom Thread, The Shape of Water, and Victoria and Abdul. Right. I'll be completely honest, I've only seen 2 of the films on this list. I missed out on Shape of Water because the screening I was going to go to was completely sold out. Like, it was the first time I've ever seen a film completely sold out in the cinema I go to. Victoria and Abdul I meant to go see, but I just never got around to it. But luckily this is costume design, so all you got to do is look at images, get a bearing on that. I mean, Phantom Thread is obviously just nice dressmaking, and you've seen outfits like that win before, but I think Victoria and Abdul is better than Phantom Thread in terms of costume design. However, when you're thinking of actual design, I'll be completely honest, the fact that Darkest Hour makes Oldman completely unrecognisable could earn it that. Personally, I think Beauty and the Beast has an amazing costume design, even if it is just a boring retread of the original classic. But I think Shape of Water should technically win the costume design here, just because, I don't know. Right, personally, I like the costume design in Beauty and the Beast the best. I'm just going to go for personal preference here because it can go any way, this one. I'm going to say Beauty and the Beast to win costume design just because the amount of different outfits they wear in that film is stunning. It's very pretty to look at. Next one is the mini category of makeup and hair. So we've got Darkest Hour, Victoria and Abdul, and Wonder as the nominees. And Wonder is amazing, by the way. If you've not seen Wonder, go watch it. I thought it would just be a nice, okay film, but it actually hit a lot of emotional levels in terms of a film. But it's being done for that award just because of the main character in Wonder having to be deformed. But in terms of actual makeup and hair, just look at Gary Oldman as Winston Churchill. Darkest Hour is walking away with that award all day long. But Wonder is very good. You should go watch it. And Victoria and Abdul, please let me know how that is, because I've not seen it yet, and it seems very good. So, original song is next. We've got I can't even do words right now. Mighty River from Mudbound, Mystery of Love from Call Me By Your Name, Remember Me from Coco, Stand Up for Something from Marshall, and This Is Me from The Greatest Showman. Now, I've only seen Coco and Greatest Showman out of these, but I did listen to the other songs, and unfortunately, none of the other songs hold a candle to these songs. Personally, like This Is Me is a great song. I would say that From Now On is the best song in the Greatest Showman soundtrack. And I'm one of those people that I really want Greatest Showman to be amazing. However, it fell short of a lot of expectations, so it was a disappointment for me. But the soundtrack is amazing, and for the message that it carries, This Is Me is going to win this Oscar, and it does deserve it. But Remember Me from Coco is amazing as well. It's just a shame it's fallen on the wrong day. Original score: we have Dunkirk, Phantom Thread, The Shape of Water, Star Wars: The Last Jedi, and 3 Billboards Outside Ebbing, Missouri, all nominated for the original score. Now, John Williams obviously has a great soundtrack with Star Wars. I won't say it's his best Star Wars soundtrack, but you hear the Star Wars music, you know it, you're well aware of it, and we do take it for granted at this point. That's what's going to prevent it from winning this award, I do believe. In terms of The Shape of Water, that's a pleasant, old school. I'll be honest, when I first saw the trailer for The Shape of Water, I thought it was like a Bioshock, live action adaptation, but that's what the soundtrack struck me as. It struck me as a cross between Bioshock and Fallout 3. But that's just me being a little bit of a gaming nerd. But in terms of the actual score, Dunkirk's going to win it. Just the score for Dunkirk. Dunkirk is literally a film where there's no character development, but it keeps you on the edge of your seat the whole way through. It's basically a roller coaster of emotions and tenseness. Dunkirk is going to win the visual score, no questions asked. Production design. Now, this is going to be an interesting one. We have Beauty and the Beast, Blade Runner 2049, Darkest Hour, Dunkirk, and The Shape of Water are nominated here. Shape of Water looks fantastic. Darkest Hour does very well to produce the old-timey look. I think Dunkirk and Darkest Hour are going to cut each other out a bit, just for the fact that they're both set in the time period, and they're very cross. They cross with each other quite a bit, so those two are written out. Beauty and the Beast is very pretty to look at. It looks exactly like the actual animated film it's based on. But, like I said, Blade Runner 2049 is a visual masterpiece, and I believe Blade Runner 2049 is going to win that award. So that's 2 for Blade Runner 2049. You are currently winning the Oscars, Blade Runner. Well done. By the way, if you didn't see it, go watch it. Buy it on Blu-ray. It is absolutely amazing. It can be argued that it's better than the original. Why did no one go and watch it? Jesus Christ. This is why we can't have nice things, guys. Okie dokie. Sound mixing next. We've got Baby Driver, Blade Runner 2049, Dunkirk, The Shape of Water, and Star Wars: The Last Jedi. Now, sound mixing, that's definitely a fun one, because sound is a lot of puzzle pieces that have to be blended over each other together at the right volumes to make it feel tense. Now, Baby Driver is great. It was one of my favourite films last year. But I think the fact that it's just effectively like Guardians of the Galaxy soundtrack with cars, Baby Driver is good, and I would like it to win it, but I don't think it will. Blade Runner has, again, some great sound editing, but I don't think compared to the others it holds up quite as well. I'll be honest, I personally believe Dunkirk should win this. I think Dunkirk will win this because the whole point of the film is to use sound and atmosphere to build up the tension, and the score and sound the score and sound editing is just something that builds it up. Star Wars: The Last Jedi does come close in there. Could have done it, but personally, Dunkirk is the best one. This is Botchamania City, this damn podcast. This is why I need someone to feed off of. Now for film editing, we got Baby Driver, Dunkirk, I, Tonya, The Shape of Water, and 3 Billboards Outside Ebbing, Missouri. 3 Billboards is fantastic. I, Tonya is a pretty damn good film. Shape of Water, fortunately, like I said, I've not seen it, so I can't actually quote as to how good the editing is in that. It looks pretty, but in terms of editing, I don't think there's much going on there. Dunkirk is made the sound rather than the visuals that are doing it. Honestly, I think it's between Baby Driver and I, Tonya. And having watched both of these films, I would say Baby Driver deserves to win this because the car chase scenes are amazing. But I think I, Tonya is going to run away with this award. Now, I didn't want to do this, but I'm going to have to skip over the next couple. We've got Best Foreign Language Film. I've not seen any of these, so I can't personally quote these, but foreign film is definitely something that needs to be observed more of. I intend to watch more foreign films this year, so please don't let that deter from watching any of these. Same with live action short film and documentary short subject and documentary feature. I'm not seeing any of these, so to quote any of these would be a pain in the ass for me. So, cinematography is my favourite part of any film. I want to be a cinematographer one day. I like using the camera. Good cinematography is basically pornography to me at this point. And the options we got here is Blade Runner 2049, Darkest Hour, Dunkirk, Mudbound, and The Shape of Water. I've seen clips from Shape of Water. It looks very pretty. Same with Mudbound. Looks quite good. Darkest Hour. It's very dark, that film. I mean, there's some nice cinematography here, but I don't think it merits an Academy Award. Dunkirk has some great cinematography, especially the scenes in the cockpit with Tom Hardy. But in terms of visualness, I've said it enough already. Blade Runner 2049 is an amazing visual masterpiece, and that should be observed. Just that one scene where Ryan Gosling is walking through, just effectively, it feels like Mars he's walking through. That's the way it's framed and the way it's shot. It is amazing. Blade Runner 2049 has to win the Cinematography Award. If not, the Oscars have some explaining to do. And original screenplay is next. We got The Big Sick, Get Out, Lady Bird, The Shape of Water, and 3 Billboards Outside Ebbing, Missouri. I've seen Big Sick and Get Out and 3 Billboards. I've gone to IMSDB to read some of the scripts for Lady Bird and Shape of Water. And I'm going to be honest here, 3 Billboards is going to win this because, the first thing I thought about coming out of that film was, Jesus Christ, that screenplay was amazing. It felt very Tarantino-esque. I saw a coverage in Empire magazine that described 3 Billboards as sort of a Tarantino-esque kind of script. I thought, no, they won't do that. Watch it and it blows me away. Big Sick is really good. Get Out is very clever with a screenplay and it does deserve some awards, does Get Out. But 3 Billboards has to win the original screenplay just because of how witty and snappy that dialogue was. It was incredible. Adapted screenplay next. Call Me By Your Name, The Disaster Artist, Logan, Molly's Game, and Mudbound. There are some great films on this list. Logan, you should be nominated for more Oscars or even more awards because you were great. And Disaster Artist, you surprised a lot of people, even myself. Molly's Game, that was a clever screenplay as well. I watched that. That was really, really clever, the screenplay. But in terms of Mudbound and Call Me By Your Name, I've had to do IMSDB there, so maybe I'm being a bit biased here. But those two are out. Personally, I think the Disaster Artist deserves to win it, but I have a feeling Molly's Game might win it just because of some controversy with James Franco, because this is the year of everyone in Hollywood is a creep. But let's ignore that for now. This is awards season. Let's look at who's going to win some awards. Animated short is next, and unfortunately not seen any of these shorts here, so I'm going to have to bypass that. Animated feature, however, we've got Loving Vincent, Ferdinand, Coco, The Breadwinner, and The Boss Baby. It's basically like Frozen all over again. Frozen came out in the year where there was a lot of terrible animated films, and it's the same here where the only good one here is Coco. Coco's going to win it. You don't have to explain why. Coco's just going to win it. It's a shame because last year we had an incredible animated lineup with Zootopia, Kubo and the Two Strings, and Moana. This year we've only got Coco to live up to. The rest of these are mostly either garbage or not exposed enough, so that's how that goes. Director next. We got Dunkirk, Get Out, Lady Bird, Phantom Thread, and The Shape of Water. Now, Guillermo del Toro has won a few awards in regards to this. Personally, I think Jordan Peele deserves it for Get Out because it was a very clever comedy horror. Even though he hates it being called a comedy, he thinks it's a straight up horror, but it was very witty, very clever, very well directed. Personally, I think Jordan Peele deserves to win it, but Shape of Water is probably going to win it because Guillermo del Toro has just been on fire recently. We're getting to the upper card now. The upper card of this grand... I can't even think of a fancy word for it. Well, ain't that a bitch? Right. Supporting Actress. We got Mary J. Blige, Alison Janney, Leslie Manville, Laurie Metcalf, Octavia Spencer. Now, Octavia, I like Octavia as an actor, but I find it funny she's been nominated 2 years in a row now. In Hidden Figures, she was great, but the main character in Hidden Figures should have got the award nominated, not Octavia. From what I've seen in The Shape of Water, she's playing pretty much the same character, just a very sassy woman. So, but I love Octavia, so I'm not dissing on her at all, even though it sounds like it. Laurie Metcalf just looks like the generic mess around. I can go through all these actors here. Like, I've not seen Mudbound, so unfortunately I can't analyse Mudbound or Phantom Thread because I've not seen either of those. But looking at it, I've seen I, Tonya, and Alison Janney is amazing. She is one of those characters you just half root for and half just despise. And by the end, you just despise this woman. Alison Janney plays that role ridiculously well. I think she's walking away with the best supporting actress there. Supporting actor now. Willem Dafoe, Woody Harrelson, Richard Jenkins, Christopher Plummer, and Sam Rockwell. Willem Dafoe, you're amazing, but unfortunately you've been nominated in the wrong year here. Because we got Christopher Plummer, who pulled in a great performance in All the Money in the World. Like, very well done, replacing Kevin Spacey there. But especially as it was last minute as well, like filmed in 9 days, it's incredible what he was able to do in that. Richard Jenkins' Shape of Water, not being able to see it, so I can't comment on it. So for me, anyway, it comes down to Woody Harrelson and Sam Rockwell. Personally, I think Woody deserves the Oscar because he is amazing in it. But the fact that, insert spoiler warning here, the fact that Sam Rockwell is in the entire movie and Woody Harrelson checks out halfway through, that kind of puts the edge on Sam Rockwell's side, and Sam Rockwell has been sweeping the awards in this category, so Rockwell's going to win it, but Harrelson should win it. Lead actress. We've got Sally Hawkins in The Shape of Water, Frances McDormand in 3 Billboards Outside Ebbing, Missouri, Margot Robbie outside I, Tonya, Saoirse Ronan, Lady Bird, and Meryl Streep in The Post. Now, Meryl Streep, congratulations, that's 21 Oscars now, like, Jesus Christ. I mean, you're great, but you weren't the best part in that. Sally Hawkins, from what I can see of The Shape of Water, is that she plays a silent role and she does very good at the sign language, and it looks really interesting, a performance. Margot Robbie, she delivers a Oscar-worthy performance in I, Tonya. I came out of that thinking, Margot Robbie, why are you not winning the awards for this? Now I remember, she's competing with Frances McDormand, because, yeah, Frances is going to win this. Like, she was amazing in 3 Billboards. Like, the vulnerability and the anger and the two faces she has around people and when by herself. She is just ridiculously... She plays it really well. She's an absolute badass lead character. Frances McDormand is walking over lead actress, no questions asked there. We're getting on to lead actor now. We've got Timothée Chalamet on Call You By Your Name, Daniel Day-Lewis on Phantom Thread, Daniel Kaluuya, Get Out, Gary Oldman, Darkest Hour, and Denzel Washington in Roman J. Israel-esque. Not seeing Roman J. Israel, it's been nominated for 1 award. I can imagine Denzel Washington's amazing in it, but like I say, not seen it, so I can't really comment on that. Daniel Day-Lewis, Phantom Thread, is a great actor. He's not the record holder for the most Academy Awards won by an actor for nothing. Timothée Chalamet, I've heard it's a very good film, but when you strip away the artisticness of it, it's basically a guy grooming a kid, so that's a fun one, but I've heard he's very good in it, so maybe he is. I've not seen it, I'm afraid, so I can't really say to that. The only 2 performances I have seen is Daniel Kaluuya and Gary Oldman, and yeah, as much as I love Daniel Kaluuya in Get Out, it's the actors around him that make the performance. Gary Oldman, he's carrying that film on his damn shoulders, and he is incredible as Gary Oldman. He deserves every bit of praise he's getting at the minute for it. Gary Oldman, you are a national treasure here in the UK. Go home and win that damn Academy Award. And now, the final curtain. Best Picture, we have 9 nominees. We got Call Me By Your Name, Darkest Hour, Dunkirk, Get Out, Lady Bird, Phantom Thread, The Post, The Shape of Water, and 3 Billboards. Out of these films, Darkest Hour is out already because it's basically a performance-driven piece. Get Out is really good. It's definitely in the top 3 that should win it there, along with Shape of Water and Three Billboards. I mean, Dunkirk's a visual masterpiece as well, but in terms of an all-round film, like, it's my favourite film of last year. Dunkirk was my number 1 film of last year, but in terms of what film's going to win, it's going to be Three Billboards. Luckily, Three Billboards, I do prefer it to Dunkirk, but Three Billboards didn't come out until January this year, so it's on my list for this year's film, so keep an eye out for my top 10 and bottom 10 list at the end of the year here. But yeah, I think Three Billboards is going to win the Best Picture at the Academy Awards, or maybe Shape of Water will win it after another letter mix-up. Anyway, those are my predictions for the Academy Awards. What can we expect from it? Well, I expect 3 things. A lot of Donald Trump jokes, a lot of the Time's Up movement and dresses, and a lot of women are great in cinema. So Sigourney Weaver. So characters like Furiosa, every last girl standing in the 80s horror films, Ellen Ripley, Sarah Connor. I'm sorry, apparently we need it to be mentioned 20 years later that women are awesome, and you guys didn't do enough, apparently. But that's a whole other controversial subject. But there's going to be a lot of those jokes, a lot of that praise. Donald Trump's bad, women are great. That's going to be the general theme. And there will probably be some embarrassing speeches and probably a few tears and a lot of ums and ahs going by the recent award announcements that I have seen. So anyway, the Spikehead podcast, that is the roundup of the first episode of the podcast. I would have loved to have had someone else here to record with me, but weather permitted, couldn't do it today. But next month, hopefully we'll get some more. And the general format of it is going to be a case of like discussing the films of that month and awarding like our own mini awards each month as well. That's my general idea of what we're going to do here. But do apologise that I've been gone for a while. It's been basically just been full-time work, getting home, sleeping, keeping warm, trying to stop myself from getting ill because it's been freezing over here and I lack any proper clothes to cope with the freezing weather. And last but not least, yeah, we're going to get another review coming out later on today. This is going up first just because the Oscars are literally coming. I am reviewing the latest film I've seen is Game Night. That review is coming out later today. It's a very good comedy, but you have to watch the review later to get my full opinion of it. But that's the Oscars. If I get more than half right, I'll give myself a pat on the back. If I get less than half of them right, then by all means, comment down below what sort of punishment I should do for it. This is the ShPodcast signing off. I do hope to hear from you guys again soon.